Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is going to be part 16 of the Crait MOC build series. Honestly, I feel like this is one of the biggest updates we've ever had here on this channel when it comes to this Crait MOC because we just got so much done over this past week. As you can clearly see right here, the turret, the exterior of it is completely finished. I want to get to show that off to you guys this week, and we have a bunch of trenches going all the way down that side of the table that we're also going to get to show off. So a lot of cool stuff to show you guys today. I'm super excited to show it off, and let's jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the trench, and how amazing is it that the trenches finally extend throughout the entirety of the MOC. I am just in awe at how amazing this looks. I'm sure you noticed that like half of the turret is missing. I did that on purpose to not like obstruct the view of the trench. It's a very tall turret, so we're going to get to that later in the video, but for now I wanted to give you guys a better look at what's going on with the trenches. So moving on a little bit closer, you can see we finished up this section pretty much entirely, and then that section over there is almost finished up. Obviously we still have to add a turret on that side. And you can see that we left some like red splotches kind of on either side of the turret. And the idea behind that is, if you guys didn't know, one of our plans for this MOC was to have like this turret be pristine and clean and, you know, intact. And then the one on the other side was going to be destroyed to kind of break up the monotony of just having two of the exact same build. But as I'm looking more and more at the build, I'm realizing that the turret is actually a very nice looking design, and I'm not too sure if that's the way I want to go with the MOC so far, or moving forward. I'm kind of considering just doing like a normal looking turret over there, but maybe just having like a removable top section that can be normal, and then one that we can switch it out with though it look destroyed, just to at least give us the opportunity to be able to get some pictures of this thing with two intact, decent looking turrets. I'd like you guys' opinion on that. So option one is we continue with the plan that we had before, where we put a lot of like good details into having that turret over there look destroyed. It will be on fire, there will be scorch marks, all that good stuff. Or we kind of take away some of that detail, where like pretty much the lower 2/3 of it will look almost exactly the same way as this one, just nice and decent, pristine looking, not destroyed in any way, but just have a removable top section that can come off, and then a top that will be put on it that'll look kind of destroyed, and just put that section on fire. So I would like to know you guys' thoughts on that. Personally, I'm leaning towards just having option two, where we have at least the ability to be able to take a picture of two decent intact turrets. Of course, I guess there could be a third option where we just build like two turrets for that side, one that's perfect, and then one's destroyed, and then switch those out. But having built the entirety of this turret, I'm realizing that it's a lot of pieces, and I haven't even done the interiors on them yet, so I don't want to like have to do that process 2 more times when I could get a decent enough effect of it by just having a removable top, or just building it outright destroyed in the first place. So let me know what you guys think about that. Before we get on to the main event, which is the turret, I just want to give you guys some better looks at this MOC with the trench going across the entire thing. I'm sure there's going to be some people who are like, Rich Boy J, why did you not have the trench be like kind of curved along the MOC? Which is definitely something we considered. I don't want you guys to think that we just didn't even think of doing that. But what it ultimately boiled down to was the fact that it is such a slight curve. If you watch the movie, in Battlefront, the game, it's actually much more pronounced than it is in the movie. But in the movie, which we're trying to be as accurate to as possible, the trench that curves, it's a very slight curve, and there's really no Lego like wedge plate that we could have used on the very edge of it here to kind of replicate that curve. Like, no matter what wedge plate we use, it would have been far too dramatic of a slant. So we ultimately decided to just have it go straight across, and you can kind of imagine like maybe past this point it would start curving off a little bit. So we don't feel it's, you know, it detracts too much from the MOC. I think the trenches still look pretty sweet, just being able to kind of scan along the entire thing. Like just look at that. It looks so amazing. I feel that we've packed so many details into these trenches. The way that I know we packed a lot of details into these trenches is just from how long it took to make them. I mean, I've probably been saying for the past 2 segments or 2 weeks that you know, we're going to finish up the trenches. We're hopefully going to finish up the trenches. And it didn't happen either time. And they're still not really fully done. But I feel at this point we at least have something that spans the entire MOC. We left that spot over there open for us to actually put in the turret, so that's looking pretty good. And then of course we got all the pipes and wires going across the entire trench section. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you like these trenches? Do you think we did a decent job on them? Do you hate them? Let us know, guys. Personally, I'm a fan. I think they came out pretty well, got all the details we wanted to have in them. Of course, you know, later on we're going to put more stuff inside the actual trenches, so there'll be like more people on that side doing stuff. There'll be more of like these details like the bags and the crates and stuff that kind of sit in there like those, just to give it a little bit more realistic of a look. And all in all, I think this MOC is really looking good. So basically, this was pretty much the last normal salt section that we would work on. After this point, there's going to be a base plate here with a little bit of salt, but then like at the halfway point, it's going to get into the mountains. So super excited about that, guys. I'm sure you've been looking very forward to what we're going to do with the big door and the caves and the rebel base inside of the mountains. And we're finally at that point. I feel like I've also been saying that for quite some time, but we are actually there. These next base plates that we're working on, they're going to involve the mountains. They're going to involve the door. So let's go ahead and move on to what the turret looks like. And here it is, guys. The bunker from Crait. Wow. I'm just so proud of how I was able to do this. I think it is just so detailed. I love the fact that, you know, there's the orange paint peeling off of the side. It's not perfect looking. It looks lived in, as people like to say about everything in the Star Wars universe. And then also there's, you know, just the rust details kind of going across it. That's why I threw in those dark gray spots. And all in all, it just looks so good. I am so happy with the way this thing came out. If you look over here, I got a picture of the turret from the actual movie. So this was actually cool because this is one of the first screenshots we saw from the movie. There was like a Star Wars databank segment or section that they had on it, and they described, you know, this is the bunker / turret that they use on Crait, and I feel I've done a pretty decent job at replicating it in Lego. I think it looks very accurate, and it just adds so much to the MOC. Like, having this over here, I feel just changes everything about the MOC. Like, up until this point, you know, everything was like, you know, just very, you know, ship-oriented, battle-oriented, and now we finally have some, like, type of infrastructure for the minifigures to sit in, which I think adds so much to the MOC. I'm honestly at a loss for words just at how great this thing looks with everything else in the MOC all together. Of course, with the trench that goes right through the bottom of it, and then it continues over through the other side. And one of the cool things about this also is the fact that it's all modular. So here's the view of the front. But as I showed you guys in that last video, this thing actually comes all apart. And the idea is to be able to give you access to the interior. So this top section just comes off. And as I mentioned earlier, like, if we decide to go with, I think it was option, I don't remember what option it was. Whichever option was having the removable or the top section that was just going to be destroyed, it would be this, but it would just be like an exploded type kind of version of that. Everything else would still just kind of remain like this. But you can look inside of it, and there's no interior yet, but there is space for one. So we're going to add some rooms in here. We're going to add some cool like consoles and stuff like that. And then of course there's the ladder that goes all the way down. And the cool thing about the ladder, of course, is that it actually travels through the entirety of the MOC. So, whoa. So this middle level also peels off. And then, like I showed you guys last time, the ladder, it'll go all the way through the MOC. So this is the second level. There's a level under this one. If you want to see that first level, you can check out that the video I did last week. But one thing I do want to highlight on this turret is this assembly right here where the guns are attached. This was such a difficult thing to figure out, just because of obviously the weird angles. I was obviously going to be concerned about the weight of the guns on it and that back section, but all in all, I feel like because it's at such a weird angle, everything is held in really tight, and it is able to keep these guns suspended. One of the things that I'm not so happy about is the fact that the guns do have a slight sag to them, so you can see they're angled like downward slightly, which isn't a huge deal because I believe in canon these guns actually do rotate up and down, so like I could just imagine, oh, like they're aiming at some of the guys walking around, or they're aiming at the legs of the walkers. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but you know, maybe I'll tinker with it a little bit to be able to see if I can have them just point straight out. So that may be something that I look into. But this is actually a really important part of the build, because this is almost exactly what it looks like. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but you can get kind of an idea of how, like, there's obviously that big ring that goes around, and then those like column parts that stretch out from the turret to connect to it. So I was actually really happy I was able to kind of figure that out and get that design in there. And then of course there's space for the troops to be able to look out from that upper level, which I think is just so cool. I can't wait to just finish up the floor and the details in here and have a bunch of troops lined up at the edge of this, aiming out at the First Order, awaiting their demise. So yeah, I am just at a loss for words for this turret, guys. I really want to know what you think about it. I know a lot of people have built turret designs, and I thought they were all very good, but I feel like for this MOC, with everything being minifig scale, I didn't want to skimp out on the turret. Like, you can imagine, this is the Lego turret, and this is actually a really good look at it for the scale. My turret is much bigger than it, and I feel like it looks just right. You know, if you look at this picture I had from the movie, it looks like a very large building, and that's kind of what's replicated here in the MOC. So all in all, super excited to finally have this thing finished up. I'm also pretty excited to build the other one on the other side, because I feel like having two turrets here will just make it look so much like Crait. I mean, there were probably like 6 in the movie. We obviously don't have enough space for that, but it'll be nice to just have 2 and kind of recreate the aesthetic of the 2 turrets in front of the door and in front of this mountain sections behind them. So yeah, guys, this MOC is just looking so good to me. Actually, here, I'll give you guys a pretty cool view. So every time I'm like walking past this MOC, I stand over here and I just look at like this ATM-6 staring down the turret on that side, and I just think it's such a beautiful thing to look at. I mean, what more can I say? What more can I say? So yeah, that's pretty much going to finish it up, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed this segment. It's a really big segment for me because I worked really hard on finishing that design for the turret, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. The shapes on the top round section were kind of difficult to figure out, but I feel like the solution I came up with, just kind of using those slopes and then the curved ones at the top, really did work out. And all in all, I couldn't be more happy with the way this thing came out. So let's go ahead and go to the end of the video. Alright guys, that's going to finish up the video this week. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know, what do you think about the design of the turret? I spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly how it would all work together, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think that for the scale of this MOC, it's nice. It has a really good size to it, and I'm super excited that it can actually be pulled apart to show off some of the interior elements. That's really a common theme with any MOC that I decide to do. And then of course, I think the trenches are just looking fantastic. It's nice to have one solid line going across the entire MOC now. Really gonna look forward to getting that other turret on the other side finished up. And of course, like I asked earlier, guys, let me know, what do you think we should do? Should we just have that entire turret over there be kind of a destroyed turret, or should we have it look mostly normal and then have a removable top section to give us the opportunity to get some pictures of the MOC with like 2 normal, not destroyed turrets, or just have one be really detailed and destroyed with like smoke and flames and scorch marks going all across it. I'd really like to know your input on that. So that's really going to finish it up today, guys. One thing I do want to say is you're going to want to tune in later today, because me, Garrett, and John Cena are going to have a stream later on today where we're actually going to be taking apart the Citadel from me and Garrett's Scarif MOC that we did. It's going to be a pretty good time. It's going to be nice for us to see all the parts we have to work with for this mountain section on Crait, since, you know, all the base plates that we've been working on so far are pretty much finished. And now the next base place that we start, it's actually going to be the cave section. So that's going to take place later today. It'll be a good time. Make sure you stop by, say hello, watch us destroy the Citadel. Who knows? Maybe we'll do some really creative things with it. Well, that's left to be seen. Chris Productions, I'm looking at you. But anyways, guys, that's going to finish it up. I don't have any dates right now for our streams next week, but stay tuned to the channel. I'm sure I'll be announcing those sometime very soon for you to see us actually start working on the big door and the big mountains. I am super stoked about that. I've been buying a lot of slopes for it. I've been really trying to brainstorm how it's all going to work together and how it's going to be something really special for this MOC. So we're kind of like moving past the salt sections and we're getting into the caves and the mountains and all that stuff. So it's really about to be, honestly, like working on an entirely different MOC now. I'm probably going to have to build it downstairs because I don't, want to have to transport it from up here downstairs whenever we finish it. But then also, we're not going to have enough room up here to be able to work on it and access each side, since the caves, there's going to be like rooms and, you know, visible things on each side of it. We're going to need to have to be able to access each and every angle of it. So it'll be really detailed. It'll be really involved, and I'm super excited to show you guys that progress. We got about 2 months left, so it's feeling like crunch time, but I'm happy that we've made so much progress so far, and it's definitely going to be a challenge, but one that I'm really looking forward to. So like I always say, guys, if you like what we do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll be back again very soon with some more great content. I'll hopefully see you later on today. Take care, guys.